In this last video, I want to show sizing, placing, and exporting. So starting off, we're going to come in and we're going to work with artboards just a tad bit. So in Illustrator, the white areas in this background they're called artboards. So we've got one main artboard all the way up here, and then down here we've got several different artboards. Now these artboards can be exported as different images, all as different pages in a PDF or different things like that. So it's really useful to be able to use different artboards. To create an artboard, we're just going to come over here and we're going to grab the artboard tool. And so we just click once on that, and you'll notice that when you click on that, you can actually edit, delete, kind of select any of these other artboards that exist already. So I'm going to show you first off how to create a new one by just drawing it out. So first off, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add in a square. Now I can hold down shift and it's going to make that perfectly square, right? And then I'm going to get it to where I want it and let go. Now I'm not sure if that's exactly the size I want. So up here in the top menu over there, we can kind of see how many inches each one is on the width and the height right here. And it's 1.99 and I wanted to be at 2, so I'm going to put 2 in there. Hit tab and I'm going to hit 2 again, and that's going to increase that size to be 2 inches by 2 inches. Alright, another way that we can do that or create an artboard is actually to create one from an existing artboard. So I'm going to click this artboard here. I'm going to hold down Option and I'm going to click and drag this over. And you'll notice that it's actually pulling that out and it creates a new artboard based on my original artboard over here. Now each artboard does have names, and you can come in here and you can change those names up here at the top if you'd like, but right now we don't need to mess with that. When you're done using your artboard tool, you can come over here and select any other tool and it will deselect those artboards. Now, common practice is to come in and to set up your different icons on different artboards. That way you can export them all individually. So we might have some small ones and we might have some large ones. Now I've got them all right here, and I'm going to kind of expand these out. So I'm going to show you a couple things. So first off, I'm going to show you sizing and scaling. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to scale these. I'm just going to hold shift and bring those out. And how I have them positioned, they come out pretty well. Now if I back up here, you'll notice that it's actually scaling those effects. That stroke is getting a little bit bigger as my icons get bigger. Now that's not always the case, and if that's not happening for you, what you want to do is actually come up, go to Illustrator, Preferences, and then General. And in here on the right hand side under the General tab, you've got Scale Corners, Scale Strokes, and Effects. And then you also got Transform Patterns and Tiles. I like to have all three of those selected. If you don't have them selected, let me show you what that does. I'm going to increase this, and you'll notice that my stroke remains just as small as it was when it was small. And so that's not necessarily what I want. I want that to scale up. So I'm going to go back over here to Preferences. I'm going to go to General. In General, make sure those three over there are selected. Hit OK. And then I'm going to increase these sizes. Alright, once you've increased those sizes, it might not be perfectly aligned in that box. You might want it to be a little bit better centered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually grab one of these guys here, and I'm going to open up my Align palette. So I'm going to go Window and down to Align, and that should open that guy up. Now, with the Align palette, we've used it before, I'm able to actually align that to the artboard. So I'm going to come down here. If you can't see that, you want to, if it looks more like this, you want to come up here and hit Show Options. You can come here and I want to go Align to Artboard. And then when I've got the Align to Artboard selected, I can do Horizontal Align Center and I can do Vertical Align Center. And I can do that for each one of these guys here. And that's going to get it perfectly centered inside of that artboard for me. Alright, once I have those scaled up, positioned on my artboard and aligned correctly, I might want to export these, alright, to different sizes, or even just to a single size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, down to Export, and I want to go Export for Screens. In the Export for Screens menu, I want to make sure that I only have these icons selected, so I can deselect Artboard 1 over here, which is my long artboard. I can then come over here, and you'll notice it has a range 2 through 7. That's what I want to see. And then I can come over here, and what you'll probably see is formats 1x, and then we've got a different type, right? So I'm going to choose PNG because that will give me a transparency for my icon. I'm going to do 1x, which is going to give me a 2" by 2" icon. I can also come in here and do a height and a width, and I can change these things up. I can add another one too. So maybe I want 3 times. So 3 times 2 inches is going to end up being 6 inches. So these are going to be 6 inches. I want that to be a PNG also. And so when I export these, let's see, do I have all these things set up? Yep, I do. I'm going to export this right here. It's going to show, hey, I've got some of the specific files already exist, and I've done this before. So I'm just going to replace right now, but that's going to export all of those. It'll open it up, and you will see, so under my 1x, it actually gives me all of my artboards, and it gives me a 2" by 2" size, right? And I think I've got a couple extras in there because of that duplication. In the 4x or the 3x right there, I've got my 3x size. So it's got larger sizes too. So quickly, I can export those different artboards to different sized icon sets or different sized graphic or design that you're working with. Alright, finally, the last thing that we need to do here is actually export this document to be submitted for the assignment. And it's a pretty easy process. So from here we're going to go File, and we are going to go down to Save As. From the Save As menu, we want to choose a place that we are going to save this. And I'm just going to put it in my screenshots folder right now. You can put it anywhere, probably desktop or downloads or wherever you want. And then from there, what you're going to do is come down to Format, and you are going to choose Adobe PDF. We want to make sure all is selected, and then we are going to hit Save. This will bring up our Save Adobe PDF menu. In here, we can leave, preserve Illustrator capabilities, embed page thumbnails, and create Adobe layers from top levels. That's fine. Honestly, most of this stuff should be fine right now for our submission in this sake. If you're going to go in and kind of play with things and you need a smaller file, you can come into this compression file or compression settings and work with those, or marks and bleeds or anything else. But we're just going to keep these pretty general. We just need a PDF out of this, and then we are going to save this PDF. Alright, once that is saved, we can open up our folder where we saved that PDF, and you can open up the preview, and you'll notice on a Mac this is what the preview is going to look like. We've got our main file, we've got an icon for each one of those in a different artboard, right, and so forth. If you open that up, if you double click that and open it up, you'll notice that, let's bring this over to our other window, you'll notice that the first page has your completed worksheet, and then all the subsequent pages, so there's the next page right there, has the different artboards that we had set up for each of those different icons. Now you'll notice in this preview window, it's coming up with the 2 side by side. You can set that up differently, right? So now I've got one whole document. This is the first page with all my worksheet. Then I've got every other one of these documents or all these other artboards exported out in this PDF. So each one's a different page. And that's what you want when you submit this assignment. You will submit this PDF in the assignment submission area in our course.